let's see. One other thing, Natalie, can you comment? I can't see any comments or anything. I just want to make sure you guys can see and you're here. All right, so I'm going to just gonna go for it. So here we go. I'm gonna also use my finger. We've used our finger before, and I do it in all my drawings, in all my artwork. I want to make sure I have my placement of my in my artwork, you know, where I want my items to be. So I want my fox to be in the middle. I want to make sure I have enough room for my my stump, and of course, you know, my bird, my branch for my bird. So I kind of have, oh yay, hi guys. I want to make sure I have enough room for everything. So let's go ahead and pick up our orange crayon. I'm going to use my finger one more time. Hi Sheena. And I'm going to make an oval for my head. So I want to find kind of the middle of my paper, and I want to kind of figure out where the placement of my fox's head's going to be. So see if you can use your finger and create that shape of that oval on your paper. All right, cool. Now I'm going to pick up my crayon, and I'm going to do the same thing. I already can see it right where my finger was, right? And I'm just going on. And I can do this lightly, so I can, if I wanted to change it at all, of course, I could go back a little bit heavier and make a darker mark, right? And change that a little bit. All right, so there's my face of my fox. I'm going to add his ears, and his ears are kind of like triangles, right? I'm going to find where I want the placement of them on his top of his head, and I'm going to add one, and I'm going to add another one over here. All right, the next step, we're going to add the little part of his face. So I'm going to have a V in the middle. It's going to go down to his nose. So I'm going to start right down here, and I'm going to make a curve, and I'm going to make another curve. And then I'm going to make his cheeks. So I'm just going to curve those and kind of give a little wiggle. Curve and a little wiggle. And I'm just going to finish that off by just rounding it out. Cool. All right. I'm going to add like the shoulders of my fox now. So I'm just going to kind of picture it, and I'm going to use my fingers to kind of just draw where I want that placement. So it's almost like a frown or an arch, like a rainbow. And I'm just going to add a corner or a curve and a curve. All right, cool. All right, so the next step, we're going to draw in our book. Now, I'm going to use the same color as my fox, and then I'll go back in with my color. So I'm going to do this light again, so try to just be very light with your crayon, and I'm going to do another V. So we have kind of quite a few V's in this paint drawing. And I'm going to use my finger again to kind of figure out how big I want my book to be. So I want it to go past the shoulders of my fox. So I'm going to start right here, go in, and I'm going to go on this side there. And now I'm going to do the sides. So think about how long do you want the sides of your book to be, keeping in mind that we want to have enough room for our stump of our tree. So I'm going to go down, and I'm going to go down. And now I'm going to do one more V, just like this one here. And you know what's actually kind of cool to do? I know how long my book is, right? So I'm going to just find that point, that end right here, and I'm going to make the center of my book. See that? Now look how easy that is to just add the bottom of my book. That's kind of cool. All right, nice. So let's go ahead, get your book in. And we're going to add our feet and our hands. And so my hands are just almost like little ovals. I'm just going to have one hand over here. If you want to add like a thumb, feel free. And I'm going to do one more over here. And then his feet, I'm going to do ovals. Awesome. Cool. And let's do one more shape that we've been doing, or is a curve, right? let's do that for his tummy, right? Because I want to leave that to be a little bit lighter. So right in here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to add that curve. Perfect. Great job. I can't wait to see these. All right. So, let's add one more shape. Let's add another kind of like our V or triangle in the ears. Kind of setting ourselves up to have some fun coloring, huh? And what else? I'm going to leave my tail for a little later because I want to add my stump in first before I add my tail. But for now, why don't we add some color? So I'm going to do that two-tone that we talked about. So hi Heather. Aw, thank you. So I'm using my orange and I'm going to go back in and just kind of darken up my edges just so I can see where I'm gonna fill in. And then I'm gonna start coloring in my fox's face. Now I'm gonna keep this part here. I'm gonna keep that white for now. I'm gonna add a light brown to it later, but I'm going to leave that. And I'm just gonna fill in with my orange. I'm doing like a medium pressure. So you get hard, you get really light. Now I'm kind of going in medium because I am gonna add a second color, but I do want this to kind of be bright and happy and pop. So I'm gonna add a medium pressure to my crayon. I got some new crayons, I'm happy. Hi Kate, I hope you're enjoying the sunshine. All right, and now I'm gonna go right on up to my ears. I'm keeping that middle area white. Are you doing orange? Are you gonna do an orange fox, or is yours a special wild fox that might be purple? That'd be kind of cool. All right, awesome. So I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna start filling in. Just starting to fill in. There it is, good. So I filled in that part and now I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my hands. And these are gonna go right over my book. And I'm gonna fill in my feet. And like I said before, we're gonna hold off on adding our tail just for a few minutes. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up my brown and I'm going to add in my circles for my eyes. And I'm gonna just go in and really think about like, how do you want your eyes? Are your eyes, oh, hi Michael. Are we going to be making circles for eyes? Are they going to be winking? Kind of think about that before you go ahead. I'm going to do my circles just like I did here. Michael, let me know if you can think of any ideas for paintings that you would like to do. Let me know. All right, so I have my eyes all set. I'm going to use black to fill those in later, but I'm just going to leave those there. And I'm going to lightly, so we did medium, now I'm going to do a nice light pressure into the tummy, into my face, and I'll add some outline later. And into my ears. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna pick up my black crayon now, and I'm gonna add my nose. There he is. Now he's real cute. I'm gonna add the black into the eyes. If you wanted to do like we've done in our other drawings, adding like a colored part and then the black part of the eye, so the iris and then the pupil, you feel free. But I'm just gonna add some black. And some black here. Does your fox have eyelashes? Is your fox winking? I'm going to add a little smile. And so when you're doing a small mark like that, be aware of like your crayon, right? Oh, a lion. I like that idea. If your crayons do need to be sharpened, ask an adult. And let's see, what else can we do with our black right now? Let's go ahead and add our pages to our book. How's that? So on this side, I have a little bit thicker of pages than on this side because I've already read quite a bit of my book. And I'm going to just add, following this line right here, I'm going to make almost like a pizza slice, right? Or kind of creating another triangle. And I'm going to make my edges on this a little zigzag. So let me just show you. Here's my book. Grab my red. I'm just going to add, and then I just added some, like a little zigzag. It's very small, so I just wanted to show you a little bit bigger. Don't overthink it. I'm going to pick up my black again, and I'm just going to add a few pages on this side. And I'm just going to lightly add a few lines for the top of my pages over here. All right, cool. All right, so what color are you thinking about doing your book? Do you have a book in mind that you kind of want to create? I'm gonna do this this cool blue. Let's see, it's blue-green, and I'm going to, my book's orange, outlined in orange, right? So I'm gonna go over that again, and just with my blue, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fill in. So I'm going around my feet, maybe adding a little bit of thickness to the binding of my book. Cool. And now I'm going to start to fill in. So I'm going to do like a kind of a hard, really like a heavy, put a lot of pressure on my crayon. There's the word. I just wanted this to be like really dark, really bright. We're kind of playing with the different pressures, right? We've done a medium, we've done a really light, I'm going really heavy, and just trying not to break my crayon. It happens though, and it's okay. And I'm gonna do it over here. You could do, with a lot of pressure to light pressure to make it kind of fade out. That's kind of cool. So just take a moment before you fill in your book and think about how you want that to look. Take your time right around my hand. Yay, all right, I like that. Very good. All right, he looks happy. So I'm gonna go ahead in just a moment. I'm going to start working on my stump. So I'm going to be using my brown to fill it in, but to draw it, I'm going to use my orange again. So I'm going to pick up my orange crayon to draw it, and then I'll go back and I will add my brown after. So just finish up that book. All right. So again, I'm going to use my finger before I go ahead with my crayon. And I want to make sure that he's sitting on this stump, right? I don't want him balancing like he's going to fall off. I want him to be nice and comfy right on that wood stump. So I want to make sure that the stump over here starts at right at the, a little above the corner, bottom corner of my book, right? And if I were doing a whole oval, right, think of it as an oval, but I'm not going to go through my book. So I'm going to go like a big kind of smiley oval from one side of my book to the other side of my book. And I'm doing it with my orange because I want to be able to have my tail and I don't want to have a brown line through that. So let's use our finger first. I'm going to start right above the corner of my book, and I'm going to do a nice kind of curve smile all the way over. So think of it as an oval, but we're just not going to go through our book. So I'm going to go ahead, and it doesn't have to be too dark because I can go back when I add my brown. And there it is. So he's kind of, you could be sitting on a pillow. He looks like he's sitting on a pillow now, doesn't he? And now I'm going to add the sides of my tree. So I'm going to go ahead and just add 2 little lines going down. And I'm going to make kind of like a fun, curvy bottom to my trunk because the grass is growing up right around it, right? And our trunk is round. So I'm going to just kind of add a nice curve. So let's start over here. I'm going to add like a curve like that, and yours can be totally different. That's awesome. Don't worry about that. I'm just going to add a nice little curve to the bottom of my trunk. Hi, Andy. I hope you're having a nice day. All right, cool. So I'm going to put down my orange, and now I'm going to pick up my brown. So I'm going to do a medium pressure, and I'm going to start filling in the top, and I'll outline the top as well. And this is where I can kind of make my top of my stump more interesting rather than just being round and perfect. Maybe like we did yesterday, maybe right near the bottom of my book, the bottom of my feet, it's going to be darker because of the shadow. Remember that? So I'm going to push down real hard right underneath, and then I'm going to do a medium pressure for the rest. So yesterday we did our shadows, so today we can definitely add those. And if you've ever seen a stump, have you noticed that there's like rings in the stump on the wood? So we kind of did that with our cat and our the cat with the fishbowl, right? We added some wood grain to our tabletop, but now we actually have like a tree stump. So when you're looking at a tree stump, it comes in rings, right? So it looks more like this, but we have our little fox sitting on it. So all I'm going to do is with a little bit more pressure. So I have my medium, I have hard pressure here, and I'm just going to finish off by adding a few kind of curved lines, adding some rings on the top of my tree. That looks pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and fill in the bottom part of our stump. So I outlined it, and now I'm going to change my direction of my crayon, going up and down. And I'm going to do a medium pressure. And I'm going to go back in lightly with my black to create my bark of my tree. Cool. And if you wanted to, you can go in and add your rings in your tree stump, pushing down a little harder, just kind of showing that. And that looks kind of cool. I'm happy with that. All right, so let's go ahead and add our tail. So I'm going to go in with my orange crayon, and I'm going to show that it's kind of sitting on top of the stump. So I'm going to move up on right by my hand of my book, and I'm just going to add a curve, and I'm going to go back. Mine's going to kind of hang off because I want to see that white tip. And I'm going to fill in my tail, leaving that white tip, because I'll go back and add some black outline. All right, that looks cool. Nice work. Very good. All right, so let's go ahead and let's think about our tree over here. So we have the side of a tree and a branch where our other friends are sitting and watching. Maybe the fox is reading to them. So I'm going to go make my trunk going all the way up, and then I'm going to add a branch. So I'm going to take my brown, and I'm going to go right on the side of my paper, making sure I use my finger first, right? And I'm going to just go right on up. I'm gonna go all the way up, light pressure. Great job. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna make my branch. So I like to kind of follow, and I'm gonna say, okay, here's where I'd like to have my branch. So I'm just gonna curve off. Cool. All right, so before I do the top part of my branch, the top of this little part here, I'm gonna put my birds in, and then I'm gonna put my branch, I'm gonna draw it in there because I wanna just let them sit nice and comfy on my branch. So I have that kind of set up. I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna decide what color I would like my birds to be. I'm gonna do red, and I'm gonna pick up that red crayon, and I'm gonna add 3 birds. So my birds are ovals. So I'm gonna do an oval. I'm gonna do another oval, and one more. Maybe your ovals are different sizes, right? Maybe you have a little guy, a big guy. All right. Before I go ahead and add my, fill in my bird, I want to add the eyes, and I also want to add my beaks. So I might just pick up my orange and add my beak. Now, what's kind of cool about doing your birds is they can look different ways, and how you kind of picture that or show that is what the direction of their beak, right? So I could do one going this way, one facing down, one facing this way. And once I put the eyes in, right, I could really change which way they're looking. Isn't that funny? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and with my orange crayon, I'm now going to add my beacon, which are just, guess what? They're triangles again. And I'm just going to kind of have them going different ways, maybe looking at the book. And I'm going to pick up, I can continue with my orange or pick up my red. And I'm going to make my circles for my eyes because I want to make sure that I don't color those in. All right, now I can fill them in. All right, cool. All right, so before I add my tails, I'm going to add the other part of the branch. So I'm going to add the thickness to my branch, and I'm going to show you how I like to make my branches, the sides here. So I have this one comes up this way, and now I'm going to come down from this part, right? And I'm going to give it a little bit of thickness. And I'm thinking about how thick I want my branch because I have my birds on there already, right? And I'm just going to start going right through just like that. Let's take a moment to just fill in our tree. I'm going to go up and down. Can you make maybe a texture? Maybe we can try that. So I'm going up and down. I'm starting with my brown. And just like we did in our stump, I'm going to go back with my with the black. Okay, so let's talk about adding a little bit of texture. So I'm just gonna do like little marks. Just creating some texture, like almost like a pattern. Or you could just go lightly over it just like we did in our trunk, but I'm just kind of playing. Cool. Do you have any ideas that you would like to add? Start thinking about if you want to add any other animals or any flowers or anything else into your background before we get our like grass and our sky in. Let's continue on with our birds. I'm going to add a little peak, his little tail, the tip of it right here. I'm just going to add a little zigzag right there. This one I have some room to add his tail right on top, in this one, I can see his tail's kind of poking up like this. So I'm just gonna add a little tail. Cool, looks great. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and why don't we add our little eyeballs? So I have my black. I'm aware of my tip of my crayon because I'm filling in something really tiny. So where is that point on my crayon? And since I have my black right now, I'm just going to outline some of my fox. Before you outline your fox, do you want to add like a hat? Do you want to add a bow? Do you want to add a scarf? Just going in, adding a little bit of an outline just to make it kind of pop. And here's where I'm going to outline that white tip of my tail. Cool. And you can outline your book if you like. Start thinking of maybe a name for your fox. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of an outline here. There he is. Cool. All right, let's go up back to our tree and start filling in our leaves. So there's lots of different ways you could draw your each individual leaf if you'd like. You could add some, maybe there's some flowers, it's springtime and you want to add some flowers to your tree. But I'm going to do using two different greens. I'm going to start with my light green, and I'm just going to kind of get like the shape of my of this bunch here that's on this tree branch, and then I'm going to add this over here. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to grab my light green. I'm going to use my finger first to kind of add the shape, kind of get that down. And I'm just going to give kind of like a fun, don't overthink it, just get it in, something like that. And maybe there's some poking in from this side here. Cool. So this is where I can start adding some more bumps. So these are more like clusters of leaves, or maybe even showing some individual leaves. So I'm going to pick up my my dark green and I'm going to start adding those. So you could add like individual leaves, kind of like this, right? Or you could do what I did here and just kind of add some, showing that it's kind of like showing that there's a whole bunch of leaves, right? And not having to do every single one. So I'm going to go in, I'm just going to finish outlining, going over that light green. That kind of was just like my, getting myself ready. And I'm going to go over here. Cool. So if you wanted to, you could use your dark green and lightly go over it. Or you can pick up your light green. I'm going to start with my light green and I'm going to lightly fill in, and then I'm going to add a second layer with my dark green. It's just going in. You could maybe add like a circular mark. That might be kind of fun. Or you can continue on with kind of just that back and forth. Alright, I'm going to add one more. I think I needed that. And now I'm going to do that second coat or second layer. Do you like doing that? I like adding two colors. I think it looks cool. Do you have any other tricks that you know that you could share with me with using your crayon? I'm going to go over here. Awesome. Filling one more layer. Cool. All right, you're doing great. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus now on our grass. So I'm going to start by using my dark green, and I'm just going to add some long pieces of grass down here. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to start at the base of my maybe a few over here. And I'm going to pick up my light green again. I'm going to do the same thing, just adding in a few long pieces. This is a great time if you want to add some flowers or anything else, like another little creature poking his head in, whatever you like before we add our backgrounds. Great time to do that. I'm going to start filling in my grass area with my light green. Whoop. Hold on to that paper. Should we add a little bit of a shadow to the base? I think let's try that. Just like we've done in our drawing yesterday, just like we added a little bit darker there. I'm just gonna add a little bit of dark green right at the base. All right, we did our light green first coat. I'm gonna add this dark green lightly on top. Anything else you'd like to add, feel free. Now I'm gonna go up into my sky. I'm going to start with my light blue and I'm gonna do another layer of the dark blue on top. Think about the direction. We've done right to left and we've done up and down. I chose to do up and down in this one here. Do you have any clouds in your sky? Feel free to add that. Can you see the sun in your drawing? You can definitely add that. Is there a butterfly, a bumblebee, a flying bird? This is a great time to add that before you add your background. But I'm just gonna pick up my light blue crayon and I'm gonna start filling in my sky. So I'm gonna start up here. And thank you, don't have to, but thank you so much for all your support with sending me a Venmo or a PayPal. I really, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm gonna continue to do these. I heard the kids are out until May, so we're gonna have quite the gallery. One thing you guys can think about is when you're done with your drawing, why don't you make a story up of your picture, right? So you kind of can have a little book, put a book together of your drawings, your illustrations with a little story. So start thinking about that. That could be fun. I'd love to hear those. Of course, you know, your child can just tell you the story and you can write it down. That'd be cool, or they could write it. If you have any ideas, let me know. And I'm gonna go right down into my grass, right into those little corners right here. Continuing with the same direction of my crayon, right? Or you might want to go wild and go all different ways. It's your artwork. Turn my page. Awesome. All right. So at this time, if you want to add maybe a title to your book, that's a great time to do that. Maybe if you want to use like a Sharpie, a pen, or a pencil, or you could just use a crayon. You could write your name. You can write the name of your fox. Add any other details you'd like. Thank you so much for coloring with me today. I hope you had fun. I did. And please post a picture of your drawings in the comments below. I just wanted to share that tomorrow we're going to be painting, and we're going to be doing this painting here of that snail. If you are going to be joining us, I think it's at 3 tomorrow. I do suggest, so if you don't have a canvas, paper, or like a piece of cardboard, just cut it out into a nice rectangle would be perfect. Parents, or if you'd like to do it too, I suggest to paint your background first. So I'm just going to paint my canvas yellow. You can do yellow and white. I put both of those colors on my paintbrush, and then I'm just going to go up and down and fill in the whole background of my canvas. I'm going to let that dry, and then tomorrow we'll go right on top of that. It just kind of saves things from getting too muddy and having just to sit and watch paint dry. So I will put all this information on a post a little later today, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Like I said, I will put the colors we'll be using, and if you don't have the exact paint I have or colors I have, don't worry about it. We make it our own, but it should be a lot of fun. So I'll put more information about that on the page a little later today. But I hope you had fun. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy the sunshine and post your pictures below. I'm looking forward to painting with you tomorrow, and then the next day, I think it's Saturday, I'll be coloring again. So if you have any ideas, let me know. But all right, see you later. Bye.